Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. Welcome. I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a request for the BRM. This is Maniac Mansion from the Nintendo or Nintendo. The song name is pretty funny to me. It's called Dave's Theme. So cool. I never owned a Nintendo, so I don't like. I'm so unfamiliar with like all of Nintendo's library. So this will be totally new to me. It's kind of a short song, which is kind of normal for this time period. So let's get into some, what I'm guessing is a chiptune. Dave's Theme. Let's go, Maniac Mansion. Okay, Dave. This is actually like surprisingly complex. That's weird. The rhythm is actually another lead. So it's like two leads. Whoa. There's a lot to unpack here. That's so strange. Both have such different mixing. This is from a movie? I have so many questions. I have one question. Who is Dave? Why does this theme sound like that? Is Dave a scientist? Is Dave a weirdo? Interesting. Okay, so I'm looking at the box art, which is pretty intense. I just noticed that face in the blue skyline. And I see kind of like a haunted mansion type of thing. So I don't know if this is kind of like this scary thing. I don't know, but there was a lot going on. That was extremely musical. Now, not to say that the NES wasn't capable of that, but I know there was limitations like crazy. So I wish I could see how they made this, because that was really complex. There was a lot of time changes, a lot of, the drums kept going there, over here, over there. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting is at first I was just noticing the bass only, and I thought that was a really kind of groovy bass. It was really nice. But then it immediately started like switching to here to there, and it was like kind of prog for a while. But then the beat was like too simple to be prog. There was a lot of groove in it. Super complex. I don't know why it was so complex. One thing that was kind of interesting is that there was a typically in music there's like a rhythm and then like a lead. Not always, but kind of just an old formula. And in this one, there was kind of like two leads. So you had one key doing right, and then you had like the actual like solo lead, which is doing like the dun, da, 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 the melody part. But it was interesting because what I would normally expect to happen there would be hard panning. So one would be all the way left and one would be all the way right. But they were both stereo, so they were both down the middle. Yet they sounded separate. You know what I mean? Like they sounded clearly apart, even though they weren't. The signal wasn't apart, and the reason of that is because of the way they were mixed. So the rhythm one, the little do, the arpeggios. If you don't know what an arpeggio is, that's just a chord played individual notes of a chord. So instead of tra, it's like da da da. That one was more warmer toned and bass, and the treble was rolled off, so it wasn't as attack. It was just kind of like it was like kind of. And then the lead was kind of the opposite. It was really sharp in contrast, and the treble was turned up. So it's very simple music knowledge. You don't have to be an expert to know that. But just that simple method of just giving those two different signals, it just stands them both out, isolated, even though they're in the same signal path. Pretty interesting stuff. So you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of like complexity here, and I'm not gonna lie. I saw the name Dave's theme. I'm like, the hell, it's not. Then again, I don't think songs really had names back then. It was mostly just like themes, just like this, or like main menu theme or something like that. So it kind of makes sense for the time. But now I'm thinking like, who is Dave? What is Dave? And when I hear stuff like that, I think of immediately like Experiment's kind of goofy, nerdy character. Just unorthodox, right? It's not like I don't get like main protagonist feel from that at all. But that's not like in a silly way. It's really impressive. And I feel like songs like this made currently, like if this was made right now or someone covered it, it would not be easy. It's, who it reminds me of kind of a little bit? I don't know who composed this. Let's see if it says. Oh, it does say. Oh, there's a couple of names here. David Warhol, George Sanger, Chris Grigg, and David Lawrence. 4 people. I believe that. But you know what it kind of reminded me of? Is the Fallen Brothers. And I've not heard much of them, but I've heard a couple of their songs, and I know that they're like in their own kind of realm. But in that same sort of realm, I also hear this belonging in there. I feel like Tim and I forgot the other one, but the Fallen Brothers, I feel like if you like their music, this would kind of fit in the bill too, because it's kind of that weird, unorthodox style that really catches your attention. There's a lot of VGM that just blends in. This one is just like in your face, and you can't ignore it type of thing. So here I was thinking this was just going to be like some kind of silly little game, but not that I judged it by its cover or anything. Never judge a book by its cover. But, you see this, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I saw this and I was like, well, this is going to be kind of just something. But, for lack of a better word. But it was actually, like, it surpassed my expectations, which were nothing. But whatever there was, it surpassed it. My brain doesn't make sense. You watch me because I don't make sense, so. But it is the raw, like, reaction that I get from it. This is what I feel as soon as I hear it. It's interesting because, I did not experience this. A lot of you hearing this, the majority of you probably have heard this or grew up with it when you were a kid. And a small percentage of you are listening to it for the first time with me. So I like to hear both sides in these comment sections. If you heard it with me, let me know what you think. Did you get the same kind of reaction I got? Or if you grew up with it, do you feel validated that listening to this kind of stuff as a kid, someone years later would like acknowledge you? Because this is kind of like the magic of VGM to me. Like, even though it sounds like silly little beep boops and MIDI sounds, it's still very impressive music. You know, if this was done orchestral in 2023 with a huge audience and you played this maybe slower or something, no one would ever know that it came from Dave's theme, you know, or Maniac Mansion. It's just one of those that kind of like are timeless. I think all of VGM is timeless, to be totally honest. Even the oldest stuff, like if it's done in certain arrangements or whatever, like it can kind of fit anywhere at its proper time. But I don't. And then I see over here, based on the original Lucasfilm, see the TV version on the Family Channel. I don't know. I was a baby here. I don't even know. Maybe this was before I was born. I have no idea. When was this? 1990, 1992 EU. Oh, it was a 2-year gap. Yeah, I was a baby. So this is, you know, I was learning how to walk when this was out. But that's also in its own way kind of really charming, because this was like going on as I was beginning to exist. You know, it's just like, whoa, this was, you know, this creativity was there. It's mind-boggling to me, but it's also great because I missed out on all of it. So that's why I actually look forward to Nintendo a lot, because I know how iconic it is, but I don't know anything about it. How weird. But welcome to my life. Anyways, thank you, BRM, for that. That's actually one of the most interesting songs I've heard on the channel. Like, undeniably. It's simple, yet extremely odd. But that's the magic of VGM. If you want to make a request to me as well, you can do so on Patreon or PayPal, either are fine. If you don't mind waiting, there is the Platinum tier on Patreon, which I provide, which skips the line. A big thank you to my current supporters, Kevin, Patrick, Shadow Maxim, Vandel, Kalanin, Gardeline, DJ Singletone, Mushimiri, Jordan, and Fissy. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks to all my other supporters. If you played this game, please tell me your stories. If you have not played this game, tell me what you thought. My name is Jesse. This has been the Auditorium, listening to a song that's older than me. Take it easy.